Welcome back to Crafting with Amy. This is Amy, and today we're going to be doing 3 different DIYs. This first DIY, I took some free templates and printed out an egg and 2 different bunnies. And then I have this fabric. I have it reversed because I'm going to be tracing it on so I can cut it out. And I'm going to tell you, if I had this to do over again, I would sew them. I used my glue gun, but I don't have my sewing machine here. I had taken it over to my mother's house to work on my t-shirt quilt because she has a really, really huge table. I didn't even have pins, so I just had to trace that, and then I cut it out and hot glued them. You just hot glue because you're cutting with it doubled over. Obviously, you're cutting 2 pieces. And this fabric came from Hobby Lobby. I used it on a different bunny here not long ago in a couple of videos ago. I think it's really pretty. And then you want to leave an opening where you can put your stuffing. I used polyfil, but I didn't leave a large enough opening, so I had some issues. That's what I'm saying. I have another sewing machine, but it's not as... I took my better one over to my mother's house along with all my pins, because it would have been handy to have had pins to pin the template. But I think this turns out really, really cute. I've done this with other, like when I made my Christmas ornaments, but I sewed them. I did 1 big bunny, 2 little bunnies, and I did 1 egg in fabric, and then I took, you can see up there, I cut the egg template out on foam board because I'm going to do something different with it. But you just line them up and then take your hot glue. And I have this sped up because if I didn't, oh Lord, it would be so slow. And you need finger protectors for this. I got that pack of 3 from Dollar Tree for like $1, back when it was still a dollar. Everything was still $1. I can't find any supplies or any craft items at our Dollar Tree. I went a couple of weeks ago, and I came out with a little bit of mesh and some foam bunnies. They didn't have any of those jute carrots. They didn't have anything. They didn't have the wire rabbit frames. And to go online and get them, you've got to get, for like the jute carrots and stuff, you don't have to get as large a quantity of those, but, or the wire frame, but for some of their other stuff, you have to get like 24 or 36. So now I'm taking the styrofoam, and I have this burlap ribbon with not styrofoam, foam board, whatever it is. I have this burlap ribbon that has the white dots. And on that piece, I'm just cutting off the wire. And I'm just attaching it with hot glue. I do it to both sides. We got cold here again. We had, it was like 60 something degrees the other day, and then it rained and rained and rained that day. And the wind blew so hard that we had ice on the trees, even though it was so warm. And then it snowed a little bitty bit, but we just keep going back and forth and back and forth. Now I'm going to take some of this jute twine and put it around. I'm sorry if I'm out of frame. I'm just gluing it around the edge so you don't see that board. And I just searched free printable Easter printables, and some of them it just took me on a wild goose chase. Some of them it was taking me to Pinterest, and even though I think I have Pinterest, I don't know. I haven't been on it in a long time. And these are, I don't really, there's some kind of floral wire type thing, but it's covered like, yeah, my iced coffee. I couldn't live without my iced coffee, even when it's cold. Um, those are like they're wrapped in something. It's a natural color. So here I'm starting with the polyfil. This is why I wished I had my sewing machine. I didn't leave a big enough opening. So it starts trying to come apart on me. And I'm going to use that floral, whatever it is, that stick to start shoving it up in there. But I managed to get it done. I didn't, like I said, I didn't leave a big enough opening, and then some places started coming open on me. My hot glue gun, I don't think, it must not be the greatest. It's one of those little gorilla ones, but it's not the greatest, and it's new. I haven't had it long. So I just stuff all of these except for obviously the foam board one. And then I attach those floral stems to the back because that's what I'm going to use to stick them down in the container in the floral foam. And this container came from Dollar Tree. I was able to get it. I used another one like it in the last DIY in this video. And I just take some floral foam. I end up having to glue the floral foam. I thought I had more, but I forgot that I had used it in that other one. And now I'm just trying to find the placement. I just took those sticks and glued them to the backs of those. I tried putting one up inside, but because of the polyfil, it wasn't sticking well, so I had to take it out, re-glue, and then I put them on the back. But I think this turned out adorable. once I figure out my placement of everything. That's where I realize I have to glue it down because it's toppling over. And I glued the wrong side. I meant to glue the side that was going to attach to the other. It's like, duh. There. That's what I meant to do. I normally wouldn't glue foam down in there because I like to repurpose things. But anything I would repurpose with this, I would probably still use floral foam. And now I'm taking Spanish moss just as a filler. One of the ears on one of the bunnies I glued down to make it look a little different. And then I have these little rosebuds that I glue to the front, 3 on each side of the wording. I think it says Farm Fresh Flowers or Flower Garden. I think that's cute. Oh, and I added some little burlap, or not burlap, jute bows to a couple of the carrots, or bunnies. And this is DIY number 2. For this one, I'm taking, it's a Dollar Tree sign. I think it was a Christmas sign. And I'm using Waverly white chalk paint or folk art. I don't know which one it is. And I ended up putting 2 coats of this on there. And I don't have one of those heat guns, so I use my hair dryer to get it to dry quicker. Because I'm not really concerned about really great coverage because I end up using some antique wax to kind of distress it, to give it that wood grain look back. And then these are strips of material from that right there. And I just cut it. I cut those in about 1.5 inch strips. I just use my rotary cutter because I'm going to be using them to make a carrot to go on the sign. So this is the second coat. And now I'm taking the wax and I'm just going to do a dry brush technique on it. There ends up being a heavier spot there in the middle, but I know the carrot's going to cover it, so I'm not real concerned about that. Right there. Like bloop. It would look like a wood knot or whatever they call it. And I have this sped up because as long as this was, because of how slow I am, it would have taken days to upload. And now I'm just taking those strips and I'm trying to figure out the placement because I'll have to cut them in the shape of a carrot. But I take them off the board to do that. I glue them all together and then I cut them in the shape of a carrot. I'm not really concerned with the width or any of that because I know I'm going to be cutting it. So you just take your hot glue gun and I don't think those aren't an inch and a half. They're more like, I think, 3/4 of an inch. And don't show me doing all this because there, I just cut it in the shape of a carrot. And then I've taken some lamb's ear. That's the only greenery that I had. Um, and now I'll glue this down. And I just wanted to keep this simple. I thought about painting, carrots, 5 cents or something like that on it, but I just wanted to keep it simple. And then here I reach for raffia. I thought I had thrown all that away. I cannot make a bow with raffia. And I couldn't figure out how to get this out deleted. So, okay, forget that. Forget the raffia. I don't even need to get that stuff. We just don't get along. I don't know. So I have this burlap looking ribbon and I just make a little simple bow, angle the edges or the ends and hot glue it on there. And then this is it finished. I think it's cute, simple. Okay, for the next DIY, that's another one of those buckets from Dollar Tree. I wish they had the white ones because I've seen those. And I'm putting chalk paint on it. But I guess because of the I don't know. It was what I had wanted was more of an enamel look. So then I remembered that I had some good old Rustoleum shiny paint, which I normally would not use. So I sprayed it with that. So I'm like, forget this. I wanted it to look like the enamel type pots. And then those are some, I guess they're roses. I don't know. I don't really know what kind of, they came from Dollar Tree. So I go through all this to eventually, yeah. So now I'm going to take black. And this is just folk art matte black. And I paint around the rim and the handles Like I said, our Dollar Trees around here are just awful. They have nothing. And I watch all these videos and these people going in these really nice Dollar Trees, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Our Walmart doesn't even have anything. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the smallest Walmart. That's no lie. So I have these letters. They came from Dollar Tree, and they're just those peel and stick letters, and I just picked out spring. I'm going to apply that to the front, and I'm just eyeballing it. And now I'm going to take some floral foam and stick down in there. And then I cut the roses. For some reason, I've lost the footage of me placing the roses or flowers, whatever they are, down in there. But I end up cutting them individually and placing them. And there is that finished product. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. And if you'll hit that subscribe and like button, I'd appreciate it. And I'll be doing some more spring DIYs for next Saturday. Thank you all, and you have a good day.